With the summer 2024 anime season heating up and us coming to its third quarter, it is time for me to answer the question that every single anime fan has right now. Yes, is your favorite anime even popular in Japan? This is a video series that I like to do every single season where we look at all the available charts that come out of Japan and compare them to what's actually popular in the West. Because yes, like I just every single time, Japan has better taste than we do. The usual disclaimers before I get started that's become technically a meme at this point because everybody just completely disregards it. These rankings are based on different sites more geared towards Japanese viewership. This can be through different streaming sites, Japanese television ranking aggregators, and whatnot. All data is taken at the day of the recording and can fluctuate based on episodes airing, availability, exclusivities, early airings, etc. This data is not the end-all be-all. It is not to say that your favorite anime sucks, even though we joke about that. It's simply an interesting way to analyze the interest in different series. And honestly, it gives us a good perspective on the success of different properties. Because yes, despite how well it does in the West, many companies that are actually funding these anime just want it to be successful in Japan because that's where they sell the actual source material. With all that out of the way, let's get started jumping right into global rankings with sites like Mal and AniList. Yes, Mal and AniList does not have every single anime fan on them. They are not the end-all be-all, but they're a good way to kind of get a sense of, based on a large pool of people, what exactly they have interest in. Surprisingly, for once, Mal and AniList are actually pretty on spot with each other. The only real difference we have here is Spice and Wolf and Tower of God are kind of flip-flop with each other. But still, yes, at the top of both of these sites, Tensura, third season, is just taking the cake. Reincarnated as a Slime, season 3 is doing very, very well. Number 2 and 3 is the big shocker for me. Oshinoko is beating My Hero Academia. Now, I will admit that, yes, My Hero Academia is more geared towards, yes, those shonen watchers that maybe all they watch in anime is just shonen. But at least for Mal and AniChart's actual membership, it seems like Oshinoko is taking the cake. Going right behind them is actually another big shocker for me, and that is roshidere. Yes, Alia Hides Her Feelings in Russian is doing really, really well at number 4. Yes, and like I said before, Spice and Wolf and Tower of God right here kind of fighting for each other at 5 and 6, which is great. I like to see Spice and Wolf that high. Granted, it has been running for 2 cores, so it has a lot of momentum to go into this season, but it's still a great thing to see. Then at number 7, this is easily across all these charts is probably my biggest shock. Yes, my dear friend Nokotan. I'm very much so surprised that this is this low. Now, granted, being top 10 is pretty darn huge for, these types of sites, but at the same time, we're already seeing that drop off of memberships when we get to about the 5 or 6 point. And yes, like I said, my dear friend Nokotan is just struggling. Then number 8 for both sites, we have Wistoria, then Suicide Squad Isekai, and then Fairy Tail right behind that. Again, Fairy Tail, very much so surprised the show's not doing that well in the West. Beyond that point, we have a massive spread. Typically with a lot of seasons, you'll have, yes, a lot of shows that are at the top of it are gaining pretty much all the memberships, and then everything else is like, in the 100,000 point. This season, it feels like there's a massive spread of people that are just kind of across a lot of different shows. But beyond the top 10, the only ones that I really want to point out is Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines, is at number 12. Come on, people. That show is absolutely incredible, and it's not doing that well. The biggest shock, I think, for me is number 15. Yes, Cloverworks' Elusive Samurai. I assumed based on the conversations that are happening online, a lot of people loving the animation and the art style of the series itself, I figured it would be much higher. But yes, number 15, that's sad. Probably the biggest shock for me, the biggest pain, the thing that is really hurting me right now is Monogatari series. Yes, Monogatari series off in Monster Season is way, way down at, wait for it, number 25. Number 25. You have No One Remembers This World, that show, or Why No One Remembers My World, or something like that. I hate that title. That's above it. That show is beating the Monogatari series. It's an absolute shock for me, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened here. I'm actually doing a whole other video. I'm not sure if I'll actually put it together and finalize it, but I'm trying to figure out what happened with the Monogatari series. That used to be a series that everybody talked about. I mean, its first season on Mal has like 1.5 million registered members. It's just kind of a big shock to me the show's not doing that well. The other one that's kind of a heartbreak to me, but I kind of understand it, even though I don't because it's Studio Bones, is yes, The Magical Girl and the Evil Lieutenant. That's way down at 27. Both Evil Lieutenant and Monogatari series, please people go watch it. Anyhow, now that we've seen the terrible taste of the West, well, I'm just joking. It's really just those two main ones that really breaks my heart. Yes, let's look at Japan. those that have good taste. Let's start things off with Abema. Yes, Abema is an anime streaming service. A lot of different anime has a lot of exclusivities for the platform itself. To name one, my dear friend has a couple-day exclusivity for the platform itself. Let's start from the bottom. Let's actually build into this for once. Let's start off at number 10. Number 10 is Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines. Again, this is a sad one for me, so it does seem like at least there's a consistency, at least with Abema, that it's in the same boat as over here. It's very shocking that the show is not doing better. I meant to go look at that specifically to see if there's some sort of exclusivity they have with a different site. I think on Amazon, even on Amazon, its ranking's pretty low as well. Hopefully, it's just doing very well on television. At number 9, we have Tensura Season 3, which again, it's kind of a shocker there, but it's probably that most people are watching it on a different platform or on television. Elusive Samurai at number 8, so at least it's doing decently well there. And then right above that, we have my dear friend Nokotan. Again, another big shocker there. Note, like I said earlier, this is the platform that is trying to push it. Like, they have like a several-day exclusivity with Abema. I think even for a while, Crunchyroll wasn't getting it right off the bat, so even they were being locked out of exclusivity for like the first few episodes. But it does seem like it's not as popular as at least the memeing and the viral campaigns they had online was going for it. Right above that, at number 6, we have Roshidere, so that's doing really well there as well. Again, Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Number 5, we have Nobody's Way Up to an Exploratory Hero. So apparently with Abema, that show's doing really well. Again, typically with every single season, you'll have these shows that feel like everybody in the West thinks it's the biggest pile of garbage ever. But for a lot of people in Japan, they're like, it's just fun, and they just want a fun show to watch. They don't really want to think too much about it. Even the same thing with number 4, we have, yes, the Demon King's Army, the Lieutenant whatever is a human. That one's doing very well as well. Now here's the big thank you so much. Here's my big thank you Japan moment that I typically have with every single one of these videos. Monogatari series, Off in Monster Season at number 3 for Abema. Thank you. It's getting recognition somewhere. On some platform in Japan, it's actually liked, and that just warms my heart because, my gosh, the Monogatari series. Come on, people. Now, it immediately breaks my heart because number 2 is the rookie old man trained by the S ranks. That show is beating the Monogatari series. So even if I win right here, I'm going to lose right here. But whatever, it's fine. At number 1, yes, again, Oshinoko Season 2 is just topping the charts in Abema. It's just taking the cake. It's like across the board, Oshinoko is just wrecking things. Moving on from there, we have Netflix Japan. Yes, I'm adding Netflix Japan to my Japanese ranking videos after many times of people yelling at me. It's finally here. The only reason I never used Netflix Japan is, one, I didn't know they actually made a top list thing, the site itself, but secondly, because they don't show the actual data. Yes, Netflix says these are the top ranking things, but I never know why. What's the viewership? They never give you a viewership count, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing about it. But anyhow, we're going to use it. Sites like Video Research and Kanto and stuff like that, and they don't list the numbers either, so it's fine. In order to put together an actual top 5 list, I went ahead and went through every single week all the way back to July, and then based on their placement on the top 10 list, I decided to give it different weight, and that gave me a list of 5 titles in ranking. Starting at number 5 for Netflix Japan is My Dear Friend Nokotan. Now, this was on the chart about like 3 times, and it wasn't too high, but still it's doing decently well on Netflix. Now, I will say that I don't think it's been on the chart for quite a while now, so I think there's been a massive drop-off for it. Rising Impact is also a similar case. It did really well early on. It just seems like it kind of drops off, but still, it's at number 4. Roshidere is doing very, very well in Netflix Japan. It's been on the chart several times. I put that at number 3. The Elusive Samurai is doing extremely well as well, so I put that at number 2. And of course, number 1, because gosh dang, it was like not even a single week that it wasn't doing incredibly well on Netflix. Number 1 is Oshinoko second season. Again, another website that this show is just absolutely taking off. I love to see the love. Moving on to Amazon, I did find a site that was trying to aggregate rankings, and it's called Flix Patrol, but I've seen a lot of mixed responses to the actual platform and how they're getting their data. I've seen a lot of people reporting inconsistencies with our data versus actual reportings from Netflix, but I did use their data and then cross-referenced it to the actual site itself and checked out the rankings and the ratings on the site itself with amazon.co.jp. If you look at just data based on actual rankings alone, Tensura Season 3 is taking the cake. That show has much more responses and much more rankings that are going to it. Now, unfortunately, what comes from that is also the reason for that. And that is mainly because, yes, there's a lot of negativity going on right now, even in Japan, for how many meetings they have. So despite the fact that Tensura's third season has the most rankings and the most responses to their actual listing, it also is at a 2.7. Nokotan's right behind it. Again, a lot of negativity is being thrown at it. It's getting a lot of rankings, but it's at a 2.5. If you look at the shows that have the best rankings overall, it's easily probably Elusive Samurai. It has a lot of rankings actually given to the show itself, and it's extremely positive at a 4.3. Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian is right behind it with a 3.6, and then right behind that is Oshinoko Season 2 at a 3.8. Again, based on rankings alone, those ones are getting a lot of attention. Just for reference, Flix Patrol also lists for Amazon JP, My Hero Academia 7th Season, Makine, Wistoria, and Roshidere. And for our last list out of Japan, we have Anime Eiga, which again, they use information from Dimora, which is a broadcasting aggregation type of service. And they actually have a contender that has not been listed quite yet. Yes, at number 10, they has Shoshimen, How to Become Ordinary. I was not really expecting to see that on really any ranking sites, but apparently somebody's watching. I mean, it's a beautiful show, don't get me wrong, but it's actually good to finally see that kind of pop up. At number 9, they have Senpai is Otokonoko, which is another one that has not been listed yet. At number 8, Sakuna Rice and Ruin, again, another shocker right there. Number 7, Yatagarasu is still holding on there. And again, I think I noted that in the last season's ranking list that yes, finally Yatagarasu is getting some sort of attention. It has been a fantastic series, so it's good to see it there. Number 6, Elusive Samurai. Number 5, My Hero Academia 7th Season. Number 4, Kinnikuman. Number 3, The Fable. Again, that's another one that's still holding on to Dimora. Number 2, again, Oshinoko, still wrecking it. And at number 1, Reincarnated as a Slime, 3rd season. So in the end, very, very interesting data that we're getting across the board. I think I'm really happy to see that really in both the West and in Japan, Reincarnated as a Slime, Oshinoko 2nd season, My Hero Academia 7th season, and Roshidere are all kind of just holding the top of the charts. So at least it seems like the top 4 is really kind of equal across the board. We have kind of a season for once that it really feels like everybody's kind of on the same page. Again, after looking at the data, I think my biggest shock is really around My Dear Friend Nokotan. As much as that show seemed to be blowing up the internet, not a single day went by where you didn't see that stupid song on your Twitter feed or your whatever social media you're using. But it seems like despite all that strong marketing and the memeability of it, it doesn't seem like many people really like the show. And again, despite it being exclusive on Abema for quite a while, it doesn't seem like it's even doing good on that site. But yes, my biggest joy out of all this is obviously seeing a Monogatari series is at least doing well on Abema. It seems like every single season I'll have that one show where I'm like, why doesn't this show get more attention over in the West? And at least I see it in Japan, at least it's doing well here. Like, I had that case with Onimai. Literally the first video I made where I was looking through these Japanese rankings was because Onimai wasn't doing well in the West, and I wanted a reason to say, at least it's good in Japan. This season Monogatari series is that for me. Anyhow, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoy this video as always. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. What's your biggest shocker for what's actually popular in Japan but not popular over here? What is that one show that you love to death but it doesn't seem like anybody else loves it? I'd love to hear from you guys. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips, links, banks, membership, below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Until next time, y'all take care.